Welcome back, gentlemen, to Let's Play Fate Grand Order. Looks like no one friended me from last time, which makes me sad. But it makes sense. My team's trash, I haven't been leveling them. Should probably... what I want is... no. What I'm looking for here is someone who has... Berserker Heracles. But here we go, you're perfect. But who still has a level 1 MASH as their main, or yeah, level 16. Still has MASH as their main character, because they're probably newer at the game and more likely to accept my trash team. Yeah, I don't know, Olga, what happened here? Usually when there's a Grail War on, nothing really bad happens to the surrounding area at all. This is very, very untypical of a Grail War. What? Oh, okay, I see. Sort of makes sense, but she's just babbling. These are the same answer. I'll go with the bottom one because the bottom one's the one that tends to make them blush. See? Huh. And I'm including... no, you know what? Let's not go there. I've been playing my main account on the American server, so I am probably going to take a second to remember what everyone does. Sweet. Yeah, let's go for a huge critical combo next turn. Should be able to finish off the Lancer. I should have probably done that on the middle guy, since he's stronger. We're facing a level 8 dude, but that shouldn't matter. Let's start with the... you know what? I think that's good. We'll do it this way. Hope that we get a crit on the last hit with Q. Yep. Sweet. Again, these little skirmishes don't mean much. To the point where I'll leave them in because I don't really want to just, you know, read and react to the story only, rather than, at the very least, showing off the gameplay. The sort of gameplay loop that you are stuck into in this gacha hell. You might be okay. You can see though that as we're getting a bit further in, the story sections are getting shorter and shorter. They never get super short, but it's at least not 40 minutes of text up before you get your first pull. We are fighting Medusa Rider in her weird blacked out form. 6,000 HP, ain't no thing. We will destroy her Especially since we've got strength. We won't kill her in one turn, but she's not going to be happy. You can actually see at the bottom of the card, it tells you what the effect of the previous cards are on it. If we have a look here. So we go Buster Arts. No, that's... Wait, does the game not work how I thought it worked? What? I'm a little confused. I'm gonna have to look it up, I guess. Maybe I thought it was based on the card that was previous, not where the card's position was in the lineup. That person is wasting their skill points on MASH for the moment. They're probably a Japanese player that remembers how good MASH is, or a complete noob that doesn't realise that MASH's first skill is useless. The MASH has changed a fair bit on the Japanese server, got a lot stronger. It's worthwhile pumping points into it on that server. On this server, not so much. Not yet, at least. Those resources could be much better spent elsewhere. There are free quests, primarily done to give you quartz. I won't be doing them on screen. They don't have any story, they're just little free quests. You'll do. Although that person, well, to be fair, I've got gold servants that I'm not using. Maybe that they're not leveling Heracles because they've lent on him before. Hassan. When she calls me master, it does weird things to me. I don't want to talk about it. Assassin, we don't have any casters, but I suspect we'll be fine. What do we got here? Not really much to choose between. Just trying. We're definitely not going to get to an NP turn with our anyone in this. The enemy's going to die before we get a chance. So I may as well go for the quick cards and try and get a crit turn off. Make things go a little bit faster. Let's pop this up. Get us 12 stars and distribute them how we want. That's nice. I like getting the I prefer the against a single target enemy. I very much prefer getting the 4th extra attack to getting the extra 10 crit stars or 20% NP most of the time. Especially this early on. Actually, it could be someone who just really fucking loves that character. That character gets grailed a fair bit. I'll go into grailing later, after we finish the tutorial. I nearly hit skip because of how ingrained it is into me to hit skip from the Japanese server. The fuck is that? I don't... It's a bronze servant, I think. I don't necessarily recognise it. Oh, actually I recognise that weapon. I don't remember the guy's name now. Oh my god, Olga, we'll be fine. Whoa, I'm not gonna sing, but cue the cue the amazing music as Cuchulainn enters the scene. It is Cuchulainn Caster, who is, well, meme-wise, he's amazing. You know what, Alice? Maybe you'll learn how to set your support group. I'm gonna friend you. Recommend level 4. We're still sitting pretty there. Hey, we can use him. Let's actually. Who would I pop out? Got a Lancer. Lancer's good against Lancer's good against Archer. So we will pop these around, do a bit of a switcheroo, and go double Cuchulainn. When the Grail summons a servant, it creates a copy of a sort of backup stored within the planet, or in some record somewhere, I can't remember. It might be on the moon. It's probably on the moon. It's always on the fucking moon. Anyway, they create a copy, so you can... It's actually quite legitimate to have... more than one copy of the same servant. So unlike Grand Blue Fantasy, where you're fucked if you've got two versions of a servant, you can't use them in the same party. You can totally use, as long as it's not the same servant exactly. Like you can't use two copies of Lancer Cuchulainn. Well, he's a bad example because there's two Lancer Cuchullains. You can't say use two copies of Jinki in the same party, but you can use, if there was like an SR version of it, you'd be able to use her. What have we got? Critical strength and debuff resist. Not yet, we'll use it next turn. Even though I've got a buster card here, I think I'm going to be better off betting for him pulling up more cards next turn when I've got some critical stars to feed him. Caster Cuchulainn is a bit of a weirdy. Only one, but hey, if I hit this button... Oh, actually, critical strength, that's not absorption up, so he might not even get it. Disappointing. Yeah, it looks like he's not. In that case, let's just go with the non-strong against the servant party, because they're going to get critical hits, which are worth slightly more. Critical, yeah, should be worth slightly more. This time. Who is like a massive fan favourite. It's criminal that he doesn't have an SR or SSR version. But hey, someone's got to be the punching bag. He's a bit... he's a fan favourite, and in being him is suffering in the original VN and the series. But he comes off it really cool. In the sort of joke companion series anime, he definitely it's played for laughs, him being so mistreated. So maybe it's tied in with that, where they want to keep the meme magic going, as it were. QP really, like already QP is not much of an issue. I could do something called the door quest and get like 1,000,000 QP. Well, you know, honestly, I probably couldn't beat the doors right now because I'm not strong enough, but that's fine. Not looking forward to having to grind this account with the characters I've got at the level I've got them. What a sleaze bag. He's a melon, maybe. Ha! Well, that's an interesting little play, actually. I'm wondering something that I can't really spoil just yet because it's fucking a year away. Hey, free summon. Every day you get a free friend summon. You should definitely pull it if you're going with a free-to-play account with no rerolls because, hey, we got a... Well, it's sort of... We got Regent, the savior of France, but we probably won't use him because we're pretty happy leveling the other person. And St. George. Neither of which I'll use. St. George is somewhat useful as a tank. He's got battle continuation, he's got decent HP, and he's got a taunt that increases defense. This guy is, what's his actual name? Kojiro Sasaki, who is Musashi's rival. He has the same character portrait as the assassin from the original Fate Stay Night, but he isn't the assassin from the original Fate Stay Night. You can tell because he's not guarding a gate and he has a name. Okay. Well, that was not awful. And we'll keep putting... We do actually have a saber here, so we'll bring our archer. That chap. That seems like a bit of a weird translation. Well, I was going to say, it doesn't make a lot of sense that the servants are still around and running, but the black mud will sustain them, and I imagine that Crewcaster has independent action. I'd have to check. Independent action is a servant ability which allows a servant to survive either away from their master or without a master without a master to provide them with mana, basically, is the main effect, so they can survive for longer if their master gets killed and look for another contract. Oh, we'll hope for the best. Robin might be able to kill him in one hit. Nope, not even close. In fact, so far away that it doesn't matter the order that I chose to attack in. These guys are higher level. I probably should have... I don't know whether I checked. If I checked the recommended level for this quest, we should be fine. Like, you don't need to be... Even the especially early on, the recommended level is much more of a sort of wide guide than a hard and fast rule. I'd really love to get a Noble Phantasm off, so I might aim to get one off in a second. This battle might be long enough if I prioritize it. Especially if I can get some extra chains in with art starters. Since the art starter should mean he gets a much more NP charge. Up to 74%, which if we can get any cards off him, we should be able to see his Noble Phantasm, or someone's Noble Phantasm. We're getting high enough here that, for God's sake, please. A buster card off an arts card gets barely any art stall. Quick card's decent. And hopefully Jin doesn't die because we can show off a Noble Phantasm. Damn it, Robin. Mash will come in. We'll save that because we will almost certainly kill this guy in this attack, and there is a third combat, which will probably have a stronger person, but not really. So, what I'm doing now, this is the Mystic Code. This is the interaction the Master has with the units in the field. 3 spells, changes depending on what clothes you're wearing, but at the moment there's only 1 set of clothes. Gurako is much more lazier than Vegeta. So we've got Just Kill and Gay Bolg. And finish off with another quick card, although I suspect we will kill them with these. And we get our first few at Noble Phantasms in double speed. I probably should have slowed it down to show it off properly, but yeah, it's fine. It doesn't deal damage, just insta-kills both of them. That is not a great NP. I think I might switch to Regin, if I'm honest. Yeah. Whew. Does it do any damage if I don't get the death hit? At least. But Lancers are weak again. Anyway, whatever. It's funny because, like, when Ku is a caster, he does the best he ever does anywhere in the series. Especially in the anime, he really boss modes it and is awesome. Whereas whenever he's Lancer, things go really poorly for him. Huh. This is interesting because we must be getting power source from Chaldea itself, because a master absolutely cannot sustain having more than one servant in usual Fate lore. Outside of specific, some specific examples exist that break this rule, but they're quite strange examples, I guess I would say. You certainly have, I don't think there's any other human that's sustained a bunch of servants at once. So I have to assume it's pulling power from Chaldea somehow. We have time for one more mission. Although, we also have time for a quartz roll, black key, come on. Already trash, although it might spark. Nope, it's a spell time. It's nothing. So, the way the gacha works in this, the 10-7 guarantees a 4 or above, but it doesn't give you any more chance to get a 4 or above servant. The possibility is entirely on the CE that it's increased, so you're much more likely just to get a 4-star CE. So I just single roll, because rolling 10 times at once and getting nothing is a crushing experience. So I think I might end this episode here with that. I'll see you on the other side, gentlemen. I'll see you on the other side.